What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Hero or Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Shaun Meehan, and joining me as always is my opera star Ciara Lawler.
I think that might be our weakest one, yeah.
It's tough. You can't coming up improv, man. It's hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Improv. That's why we need to write this stuff down. You know what I mean? That's what the heart of improv is.
I do need the Google Doc of intros for you that I can use every second week.
Yes. So if this is your first episode of Hero or Zero, Shaun normally does a weird improv bit, introduces me wrong. And then we go from there. But this is the show where we choose one comic book character every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points, and we generally just give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. Now, Shaun was away last week, so I covered it. I did Tim Drake again, and I got to go like proper nerdy. So Shaun, you've had a week off. You had a week to settle yourself. I must say, Shaun normally does Marvel characters. I normally do DC characters. But to be honest, we don't really stick to that. We just kind of float with everyone we like, mostly.
Yeah, occasionally we will dip in and out of like, oh, this is interesting. And sometimes we do copyright-free characters, which are some of my favourite episodes.
They're more fun than most things, because you can just do whatever you want. But yeah, as I said, this is Shaun's week. Shaun, you've come in with a character. I'm intrigued to know who you've chosen.
This is a character who has popped up in a lot of comics, plays a part in a lot of like major storylines, but it's really like unknown for like a general audience.
Okay.
You might have heard of him. His name is Mr. Sinister.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, a lot. That's he again because he pops up in a lot of stuff. Pops up in a lot of Deadpool stuff sometimes, and generally he's kind of an X-Men mutant villain is who he is. But he's been around for absolutely ages, both in comics and in the comic universe. So he's gotten just more and more powers stacked on him as the years have gone on.
Has he ever appeared in any movies that we could see him in?
So there is, I forget what it is now.
Is he in First Class?
No, not First Class, but I think at the end of Dark Phoenix, or one of those kind of movies, there's a briefcase that closes, and it says Essex Corp. And that is Mr. Sinister's company. His name is Nathaniel Essex.
Okay, so, I think that's Dark Phoenix, but also that movie nobody remembers and was really bad. Exactly.
So look, it's one of them. But it was a tease, but then Fox was bought by Disney, so that tease is gone now forever.
Yeah. So,
jumping into it, Nathaniel Essex was born in England in the 19th century. So this is in the 1800s that this dude cropped up. As a child, he was observing the movement of people in Greenwich Park, and he was amazed at how they followed what he believed to be preordained paths. So he was like, they're just walking where people tell him to walk, man. They're not thinking
his own
for
research.
He does his own research online.
Okay.
His fascination with predicting the course of things led him to pursue a career as a scientist. And he became one of the greatest minds of his generation.
I'm also really proud, by the way, of Marvel for not calling him like Johnny Sinister. Just due to the fact that like you have Victor Von Doom. Like they always have to just have evil in their name. I'm really proud.
It's not like even Octavius for Dr. Octopus. That's a stretch at the best of times. It's nice to have just a normal named man. At some point in his life, he married Rebecca Milbury, living with her at Milbury House. After their son Adam passed away at the age of 4, Dr. Essex was driven deeper into his work. So their son had a number of kind of genetic issues at birth that led to him dying young. And so Nathaniel Essex just kind of went mad on genetics and like researching what caused this. Could it be stopped?
I mean, so far, kind of a heroic origin.
Yeah.
To come from tragedy and then to try and improve life for others.
Yeah, to try and maybe help things. I want you to hold on to that thought as I read this next sentence.
Well, I mean, he's called Mr. Sinister.
So, obsessed with Darwin's...
So far, let's hear him out.
So far, it's Mr. Pleasant right now.
Mr. My Best Friend. Go on.
Obsessed with Darwin's theory of evolution, Essex wished to go beyond, believing that his contemporaries were shackled by too many moral constraints.
Oh, no. Mr. Acquaintance.
His orientations put his membership in the Royal Society at risk, and he was regarded to be a dangerous man. During a lecture, he claimed that humanity contained the potential of evolving immensely fast due to what he called SX factors. X factors, if you will.
If you will.
Predicting the emergence of mutants as an evolutionary breakthrough.
Oh, not the talent show.
Not the talent show, I'm afraid.
No, okay, sorry. Yeah.
This...
Cheryl Cole, she's going to cause it.
So this this was his thesis, essentially. This is lecture. Shortly after this lecture, one of his unscrupulous experiments was exposed. Connor.
Oh no, he's experimenting on humans.
He's experimenting on humans, the downtrodden of society. He's kidnapping them, cutting them open, doing a whole bunch of shit to him. So, he was ousted from the Royal Scientific Society. As he angrily left, Dr. Essex stated that if becoming a monster was what was required for science to progress, then he would.
If I'm a monster, say it to me now. You're a monster. Shut up, John.
How dare you?
I never even liked you, Johnny.
So, Essex eventually met and hired a man named Cootie Tremble and the Marauders. I know, I knew this would be a point of interest.
let's just stop. Let's have a chat about Cootie Tremble.
Go ahead. Cootie Tremble.
First name Cootie, second name Tremble.
You have it exactly right, Connor.
Did his parents love him?
They're not around as much anymore.
I can only assume they didn't. If your child is called Tremble,
you want to give him a strong name,
give him a strong name.
Never tremble.
Absolutely not once will I. First name.
Not a hope of me having a.
Really set out the stall early. But to look at that child, look at him in the crib, and then go, Cootie Tremble. I think you're setting him up for a lifetime of sidekickery.
And maybe ass kickery as well.
Maybe.
Any cooties in the chat, let us know. But Cootie Tremble is the leader of a group called the Marauders, which is such a cooler name.
Way cooler, but why would you follow a man called Cootie Tremble? He'd have to be very charismatic.
You'd have to be with that kind of a name. You'd have to be tough. But the Marauders collected all types of misshapen folk off of the streets of London to be victims of Essex's experiments.
Right, okay.
They unexpectedly awoke the immortal mutant known as En Sabanur, aka Apocalypse.
Just accidentally.
It just accidentally woke him up.
Yeah.
He was just sleeping in London at the time.
Just a regular Thursday, and they just made enough noise and they woke him up from a sleep. He was having a nap.
He was living and was like, take me to your leader. I want to meet him.
He was like, I have a shift at 12. I meant to have a sleep during the day. I'm up all night in a night shift, and you're after waking me up at 8 a.m. I'm not happy about it.
And so he went to Essex, and Essex is immediately like, holy shit, you're a mutant. Because Apocalypse is the first mutant. He's all the way back in Egypt times. And he's like, this proves literally my life's work, that humans can just do this. And he's like, that's class. Then
does Apocalypse look like Oscar Isaac? Sorry to...
Not yet. Not at this point.
Okay, cool.
That's exclusively in the movie X-Men Apocalypse that he looks like.
And the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Yes, when he is played by Ivan Ooze. So Nathaniel Essex and Apocalypse were then confronted by time travellers from the future. Now, I need you to bear with me here.
He's had a busy few days.
It's a busy few days for this man. And he's not even called Mr. Sinister yet.
So far, he's just experimenting on normal people. Just regular old Joe experimentation.
Bit of human experimentation going on. So he was visited by Scott Summers, a.k.a. Cyclops, and Jean Grey, a.k.a. the Phoenix, who were sent back in time to prevent the earlier rise of Apocalypse. So if Apocalypse was active in, the 1800s, that fucks with the future. Because he was never meant to be woken up. It's this weird time stream thing. But basically, they come back to try and shut down Apocalypse. Nathaniel Essex is fascinated by Scott Summers and Jean Grey. Because he's like, here's a man with laser eyes, and here's a woman who can control minds.
Yes.
That's pretty good. And the Summers and Grey were eventually captured by Apocalypse after they failed on their mission.
I don't want to tell Professor X how to set up his teams.
Yeah.
But you're just going to send Jean Grey and Scott Summers by themselves. Surely you bring Storm along for the journey.
There might have been something going on. I'm not quite sure. Well, actually, no. They were sent back because of something that's going to happen later on. They were sent back, and that something had to happen to defeat Apocalypse in the future, but they had to be sent back and fail at this point.
Okay,
I'll
fair
get
enough.
to it.
Yeah. Time streams.
So the confrontation between those X-Men and Apocalypse, it led Essex to decide to dedicate his life to his wife and his new unborn child who was on the way. He's like,
Mr. Best Friend is back.
Mr. Best Friend is back. Now, I want you to hold on to that thought as I read the next sentence.
Okay. Let's hear him out.
But as he returned home, he learned that his wife had freed all of his captives. She had prematurely had their baby and was dying of stress. Denying him any forgiveness, she died in disgust, stating that he was utterly and completely sinister.
Oh no. Oh, I see it.
Miserable.
Oh no. Oh,
Miserable.
it was so close.
Nathaniel agreed to Apocalypse's offer of becoming basically his protege kind of thing. And what Apocalypse did was that he transformed Dr. Essex into an ageless being of extraordinary power with celestial technology. He then shed his past name and chose another, taking the name Sinister, his wife's last word to him.
Super edgy. Super edgy.
Like, I don't know if you've seen Mr. Sinister. He's basically the edgiest looking character you can imagine.
I'm going to Google Mr. Sinister just to
Do
get
a
an
Google.
exact.
Because I would say he's edgier than Penance, who wears a suit made of spikes to hurt himself.
Mr. Sinister. Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes. No, I do know Mr. Sinister, yes.
Yeah,
Just
you've
the
seen this
image.
dude.
Yeah. That's super edgy.
He's very edgy. Very edgy.
He's like Craven the Hunter, but he's like emo.
Yeah, he's very pale, but he's also massive. He's got a big, like, My Chemical Romance suit on. It's amazing.
He looks like what Jared Leto dreams of being.
He really does. So, as Mr. Sinister, he allowed whatever humanity he had to be carved out of him, leaving him with objective clarity and no morals.
Oh no. All my earlier statements have come back to haunt me on Mr. Sinister.
No longer Mr. Best Friend.
No.
So Cyclops and Phoenix battled Mr. Sinister, and during their fight, Mr. Sinister came to realise that Apocalypse was a madman and that their objectives were not compatible. So Apocalypse wants to basically rule the world, control everyone. Mr. Sinister wants to, like, unlock the best of humanity, but he just does it through really fucked up means.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, if you win, I can't do what I want. So Sinister ultimately betrayed Apocalypse, infecting him with a deadly plague, making Apocalypse return to his hibernation. After doing this, Mr. Sinister stated that cruelty for no purpose was ignorance, and ignorance was the greatest enemy of science.
Oh, so he's still a man of science.
Still a man of science. Like, he's fucked up, but he's like lawful evil. Like,
I'll be honest with you, he's reminding me a lot of Hugo Strange.
Actually, yeah.
In Batman comic books. He experimented on loads of people to try to find the perfect human.
That's true, yeah. And like it's not personal. Like he doesn't want the glory and everything like that. He just wants the science.
I just experimented on humans. And I just had to take people off the street, homeless people, experiment on them. What can you do?
It just happens. It just happens every so
often. If they turn into monsters, they turn into monsters. I can't be blamed for that.
So Mr. Sinister kept doing his work all over the world. And he encountered a bunch of mutants and things like that over the years. One of them was Logan. And he basically like dissected Logan while he was alive.
So my question is, what does he feel about mutants then? So does he love mutants or hate them because they are an advancement on humans?
He's more fascinated by them.
Okay.
And he wants to learn how to, because going back to his son, he wants to learn how to control the genes.
He wants to replicate.
Yeah, he's not a fan of the randomness of it.
Yeah.
But
isn't that like the plot of Logan? Well, they've kind of killed out the mutant gene in that one.
Yeah, they've neutralized it through the water.
But the idea is, if you
like
can control it, then you can just inject it into like soldiers, and then you just send them to war, and then we just have mutants in armies.
Exactly, yeah. And a lot of his research went on to become like the Weapon X program and stuff like that. So Mr. Sinister's, I should also say, throughout all of this, he's obsessed with finding Scott Summers and Jean Grey again.
Right, okay.
He was like, they're so powerful. Like, if I can find out what makes them tick, then it's all easy from there.
I'll be honest with you, Scott Summers is getting thrown in there with Jean. I feel like Jean's carried a lot of power.
Well, yeah, I'm going to do a report on Scott Summers someday because he is ludicrously powerful. But everyone just pictures James Marsden.
but also, I just think because he goes around with Jean Grey, who's like one of the most powerful mutants of all time, everyone's kind of like, he's probably not that strong.
So his obsession for observing the development of mutant children led him to take control of an orphanage, the state home for foundlings in Nebraska.
And he's going to feed them? And clothe them?
No, what he does is he creates a cutting-edge laboratory underneath the orphanage and cruelly manipulates the children's development without his staff's knowledge.
Oh, no, not Mr. Nice.
And then one day, Connor...
Oh, yeah? He's going to turn it all around?
A young Scott Summers... Because remember, Scott Summers had travelled back to the past.
Yeah,
and that's
he's now a child.
Now a child. He had his mutant powers activated when, in order to save himself and his younger brother from a plane crash that left them orphaned, he activated his optic blasts. That's the first time his mutant power activated. And Sinister's sensors that he had just placed all around the world immediately said, hey, a guy with laser eyes just showed up.
Oh.
And he's like, I'm fucking having him.
Yeah.
And so... Scott was hospitalised for the injuries, but because his parents were presumed dead, he was taken in, left in an orphanage, and for a year, Mr. Sinister carried out experiments on a comatose Scott Summers.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
Yeah. So, as a way to kind of after this, Scott woke up, he was just kept in the orphanage, his brother was sent away. Mr. Sinister designed that so that like Scott would have no one.
That makes sense.
Mr. Sinister then was like, I'm going to be Scott's best friend. And he like gives him the red glasses so he doesn't blast everyone all the time. He talks to him. He wants Scott to like him.
He's so that Professor he can manipulate X him. Before Professor X.
Pretty much, yeah. Now, as Mr. Sinister was not able to get access to Jean Grey, what he did is he created a clone of her from DNA that he was able to obtain. This is a few years later now, so Scott has joined the X-Men by this point. He's left the orphanage behind. So he creates a clone of Jean Grey, but the lifeless clone did not develop any mutant abilities as he had hoped. So the DNA wasn't enough to get like Jean's psychic powers and things like that. However, Jean then died while she had the Phoenix Force inside of her.
Yes.
And the Phoenix Force was just roaming around lost.
Where's it going to go, Shaun?
It found an exact genetic duplicate of the person that it was just in.
What a coinky dink.
It inhabited this clone.
That's classic comic books. That's what that is.
It is. Now, this clone, it's one of the most important comic characters. This clone was named Madeline Pryor after this, right? Madeline Pryor then eventually got into a relationship with Cyclops. They fell in love, they got married, and they had a child named Nathan Summers, aka Cable.
Yes, who we have seen in the movies before.
Exactly. And Cable's whole thing is that he wants to kill Apocalypse. So that's the reason that Scott and Jean were sent back. So that Mr. Sinister would get obsessed, make this clone of Jean, and then they could give birth to Nathan to defeat Apocalypse.
Fucking hell, that is convoluted plot-wise.
Yes.
But also, I mean, it makes sense.
There's logic to it, which I think is what a comic needs.
It's because once there's time travel involved, it's fucking weird. Like, it kind of ruins all plot points. So to even try and hold on by the seat of your pants, it's like, okay, it makes some sort of sense if we do this.
Exactly. And so that's where I'm going to leave the backstory part, because this is one of those characters where I have 2 pages of backstory and 6 pages of powers.
Right, okay.
But Mr. Sinister, for most of his comic book stories, he is like a puppet master. He's just doing things in the background that affect major plots.
Okay.
But then you get to his powers and you're like, this dude, if he wanted to, if he didn't have this weird scientific code that he sticks by, he could destroy everyone.
So it's one of those where, like, is he more powerful than Magneto? Is my question.
I think so. I think he
could probably take down all of the X-Men.
Yeah, because one of his powers is that he can incorporate genetic material of other mutants into his DNA to gain their abilities.
What?
Yeah. So if he gets a mutant knocked out, he can just take their powers. He's also able to control...
Sorry, if he takes their powers, do they ever get them back? Or are they just gone?
I think he just incorporates them into him. So it's like he copies them.
Okay. Cool.
But it's not like he touches them and it happens. It's like, I think it's a scientific process that it's done by. He can also manipulate every molecule in his body.
Fucking hell.
Like he can do whatever he wants, meaning he can shapeshift. He can turn into anyone or anything he wishes. Harden his body into a living armor. He can be a semi-liquid state. He has a regenerative healing factor.
What?
It's so strong that he no longer requires the functionality of his brain or other internal organs to survive.
Fucking hell.
He has superhuman physical condition because he copied that from a mutant named Thunderbird, giving him superhuman strength, durability, reflexes, stamina, and speed. Telepathy. He can mind link with people, read their minds, make them see telepathic illusions. He's immune to telepathic attacks. He can use psionic force bolts to attack you with telepathy. Mind alteration, mental amnesia, and he can dilate power, which means that he can turn off the superpowers of any mutant if he touches them.
Fucking hell. Right. Yeah, he is undefeatable.
Page 3.
Oh no!
He has telekinesis, so he can also have telekinetic flight. He can interface with technology directly. He can teleport across large distances. And he is functionally immortal because he is immune to aging and disease, and he can rapidly regenerate any damaged bodily tissue.
What?
He has genius level intelligence, a genius level geneticist. He is a master surgeon, skilled mechanical engineer, master manipulator, and trained combatant. He also he has this is fucked. He has little drones that fly around, and they can take mutants' genetic material just whenever. pretty much. So if he's going up against someone, he can just pick the mutants he wants, send out the drones, and copy their DNA.
And how long does he have the powers for? Forever?
Forever. Like, Apocalypse gave him to him.
Like,
he just...
So then what's the point? How could anyone defeat him? He would just send a drone out to every mutant and take every power.
But that's not his end goal. Like, right. I suppose if it came to a fight, that's what he would do. But he just wants to control the genetic process.
What mutants are you taking from, if you can, no matter what the fight is?
I mean...
Say Jean Galactus Grey is coming.
Oh, Galactus is coming. From Jean Grey, Professor X,
Logan,
Wolverine, Rogue, pretty handy.
Definitely.
Colossus, why not?
Yeah.
But like, he can do a lot of this shit already just with his atoms. Like, he can just make his atoms harder.
Jesus Christ! Like, he's basically like all of the Fantastic Four in one.
He's
and all of the X-Men in one.
Yeah, he's every mutant in one. But he's not about like killing every mutant or taking over the world or anything like that. He just wants control over genetics. All stemming back to his son dying. Like ostensibly that's his like instigating
if
moment.
That's good or bad.
No, he's absolutely a villain. Like, he will go, like, he will kidnap, he will murder, he will run through anyone.
But for his one goal that he wants to do, not overall destroying the world.
Yeah, and it's not personal either. There's also a bunch of Mr. Sinister clones as well out there that just are basically him, but there's many of them.
Yeah, sure, why not? I'm assuming he can make clones.
And due to his involvement in mutant affairs, it's often believed that he's a mutant, but because he was altered by Apocalypse and not born a mutant, he's technically a mutate, like Deadpool.
Right, so the powers were given to him. He didn't develop them.
Exactly. So he's not born with them. He's not a natural mutant. He was made, basically.
But to be fair, he's technically then a god, because like a different god gave him the powers.
Pretty much, yeah. And the Marvel 1-7 rating system does reflect that.
Go on.
Because he has a durability of 6, energy projection of 6, fighting skills of 6, intelligence of 7, speed of 7, because teleport, and strength of 5. Like, that's just physical strength. If he uses telekinesis, he can lift whatever.
Is that the strongest we've ever done?
Outside of characters like Squirrel Girl and some of the like invincible people, you know, like the absolute most powerful people there's ever been. Like Taskmaster, I think, is 7 on fighting skills because he can learn every fighting style.
But he's 2s on everything else.
That's the thing, 'cause he's a regular man. This dude is just like he breaks the scale really, because this is his base level of power. This isn't augmented. This is just how powerful he is all the time.
And that's not even like adding things onto him. So technically he's 7s across the board.
Yeah, like if he can get Wolverine's like fighting skills, he's a 7 in those. You know.
And he just can. He just sent out a drone.
Yeah, like the Hulk is a 7 in durability. So like,
just take that.
Just take that. Like it's ridiculous. Like,
Jesus, and that's so funny that he's like 7s across the board, but he's like, no, I don't want to take over the world. Like, I'm not going to be like a big bad. Because what hero could you put up against him that could conceivably win ever?
That's it. Yeah, like Deadpool does go up against him a fair bit, and then just the general X-Men, because with them you get with our powers combined we can beat him.
Right,
kind of
but then he takes all of their powers and combines them himself. That's true.
But a lot of it, there is some element of ego to him in like recent years, that he is like, I'm the best scientist and all that kind of stuff. So he can be beaten that way. Emotionally, you can beat him.
you can run the story of like he has all those powers, but he doesn't know how to use them as well.
Exactly.
The people who've had them all their lives.
It doesn't beat experience and that kind of shit.
It's very similar to Pikachu Raichu in the Pokemon TV show, when the gym master, Lieutenant Sarge. Yeah, Lieutenant Surge. He uses a Thunder Stone and he makes his Pikachu evolve, but it was too early, Shaun. And
it's too early.
Even though he's a bigger Pokemon, he just doesn't know the moves as well as Pikachu does.
It's exactly the same, Connor. You know, I'm glad you brought that up.
I don't know why I thought that. I haven't seen that episode in about 15 years.
But I get where you're coming from, and it clearly made an impression on you.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's a character that's really hard to write, I imagine.
What do you do?
Yeah, you have to contrive a threat for him. But I do think I like that he's just a puppet master in the back, and he's just making all these events happen. Like, he's the reason Cable got born, basically. Like, that's huge.
Cable is like involved in everything in terms of time travel and all that stuff, just in the comic books, like as a character.
Yeah, and like if there's any issue with time, Cable generally shows up.
Jesus.
So that's my report on Mr. Sinister, Connor.
Oh man, we are doing some seriously powerful characters.
I need to come up with a shit one really soon, because I'm running out of super powered ones to do.
We're going to run out of Omega level powered heroes and villains.
We're going to peak, and then we're going to come back down to like Stiltman.
When we get back to like 3s and 4s, we're like, these are shit. We love the 7s.
These aren't interesting. But would you like to take us out, Connor?
Yes, please. So if you liked what you heard, we do have hundreds of other Hero Zero episodes. I think we're like 180. So maybe that's technically hundreds. But they're all up on the Heroes for Hire
tens of Hero Zeros,
20s and 10s Heroes for Hire Hero Zero episodes. They are all up on the heroesforhire.ie website. That link is down below. So that's our website where you can get access to basically every episode we've ever done. Our shop is up there. You can also support us there. There's a button to head on over to our Patreon, where we have all these extra episodes and extra reviews. If you don't want to head there, you can give us a like and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That would really help us out. And yeah, we're on all of your normal podcast platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, Castbox. I'm probably forgetting like 50 of them.
AM radio.
That's the one. We're also on Twitter at Heroes for Hire Pod. The 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Heroes for Hire Podcast. Instagram is Heroes for Hire Podcast. And most importantly, you can just tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
So I've been Ciara Lawler.
I've been Shaun.
And we shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.